What's up, everyone? So I'm actually at a conference right now. I'm exhausted. This whole week has been insane. And then yesterday, which was Friday, I ended up coming to Philadelphia for this conference. But point being, it was a conference for the American College of Physicians. And that basically is a bunch of internists. And that raised the question of what is an internist and how exactly do you get there? And I used this as an opportunity to educate you on the journey to becoming a physician in the United States. So here's a short video just explaining the journey. Let's do it. First, I want to define what internal medicine is. What is internal medicine? Pretty much any organ inside of the body, in the abdominal cavity and a little bit above the abdominal cavity, so like the thorax even, is internal medicine. And it's a very vague term. Lungs, heart, kidneys, liver, all of those organs are subsets of internal medicine. You need to know how to manage them. Internal medicine is about as fundamental medicine you can get without being surgical. So internal medicine learns how to deal with things in a non-surgical way, whether that's medical management, therapeutic management, all of that jazz. All right, so first and foremost, if you're going to pursue medicine, you need 4 years of high school. Once you have completed high school, you need 4 years of undergrad where you complete your pre-medical requirements, of which there are a lot. I've made videos on that in the past, but let's skip past undergrad and say that you're in med school. Once you're in med school, the first 2 years of med school are actually focused on bookwork, which means you're learning from the classroom. It's very similar to undergrad. You're going to lectures, you're learning from lectures, you're learning the underlying pathology of disease and learning how that disease is ultimately managed in the hospital. In the third year of medical school, traditionally what you'll do is you'll rotate around in the hospital and you'll go through all the different specialties that there are, including surgery, OB-GYN, primary care, pediatrics, all of that. You'll go through all of them and see which ones you like. And then in your fourth year, you decide what specialty you want to pursue. And you then do electives in that particular specialty. So if you wanted to particularly pursue surgery, you would then take particular electives within surgery in your fourth year to really subspecialize and make sure that that's really what you want to do. And then in your fourth year, you actually then apply for residency. And this is where you actually get the real training to become a doctor. Medical school is just the actual aspect of setting things up and giving you your MD degree in the United States, but it's not enough for you to actually know what exactly will happen in the hospital. You need to do residency for that. And this time I'm actually going to tell you about internal medicine residency and what that is. So now, let's say you get through med school and you want to do internal medicine, you apply for internal medicine residency. That's when everyone talks about the match. The residency, to get into residency, you have to match, and I can talk about that a bit later, but let's say you do match. You now are in a 3-year residency program. The first year of that residency is called your intern year. So that's why when people say intern in medicine, they don't actually mean like a high school intern. They don't mean a college intern. They mean a first-year resident who's already completed 4 years of med school, 4 years of undergrad, and 4 years of high school. So in your intern year, you pretty much get used to being in the hospital. You're working crazy hours. You're being in the hospital pretty much all the time and learning how the hospital works. Then in your second and third year, you continue your training. You're not working as much, but the point is that you really learn how to manage patients. After 3 years, you're officially called an internist, which means you can take care of patients inside the hospital. That's why you're called an internist. And that's often what people can do, which means inpatient management, whether that's, let's say someone had kidney failure and they got hospitalized. Let's say someone had liver failure and they got hospitalized. Usually internists will take care of those patients. And that's pretty much what the American College of Physicians is. It's a group usually of internists. But the crazy part about internal medicine is that it actually gives you a broad enough training to do other specialties as well. So for example, if you want to do primary care, which is seeing patients on an outpatient basis, outpatient, which means outside the hospital, you kind of see them in a clinic, they come in and they leave. That is an outpatient practice. And that also, usually the people who work there have 3 years of internal medicine residency and internal medicine training. So internal medicine is, again, as I said, very broad because it covers a lot of the organ systems. It gives you a general understanding of everything. And so they're kind of like a master of all trades. But the point is they don't know too much about each organ system, but they know enough to manage and refer when needed appropriately. But the other crazy part about internal medicine is after those 3 years of internal medicine residency, let's say you now wanted to focus specifically on particular organs. So let's say after 3 years of internal medicine residency, I really wanted to do cardiology. Well, to do cardiology, I would have to do the 3 years of internal medicine residency after med school, plus a fellowship. And so that's what people refer to as a fellow in the hospital. If someone is a fellow, that means they've completed some level of basic training and now they're subspecializing in a particular field within that basic training. So for example, if I wanted to be a fellow in cardiology, I would have to do 3 years of internal medicine training, and then usually most fellowships are about 2 years, so 2 to 3 years. And so you'd have to do 3 years of internal medicine plus 2 to 3 year fellowship in cardiology. So if you want to be a cardiologist, that's 4 years of high school, 4 years of undergrad, 4 years of med school, potentially more if you do research years, and then you have to do 3 years of residency, potentially more if you do research, and then a 2 year fellowship. And as I said, this is a long path, and that's to become a cardiologist. Similarly, if you want to be a nephrologist, it's the same thing. 3 years internal medicine residency, and then a 2 year fellowship in nephrology. You can't just become a nephrologist by skipping internal medicine. Internal medicine is the foundation of a lot of medical subspecialties, and that's why internal medicine residencies, if you look at any school's match list, internal medicine residents are a large chunk of them, because a lot of people who want to pursue subspecialties have to go through internal medicine training. And then you have to do a fellowship to subspecialize. So hopefully this gives you a better idea of what an internist is. It gives you a better idea of a primary care doctor. It gives you a better idea of a cardiologist. It tells you where they're all coming from. And I just wanted to make this video because I met a lot of doctors today, and they mostly were internists, but some of them were pediatricians, some of them were cardiologists, some of them were nephrologists, and they all have that internal medicine training, and that's what makes them internists to a certain extent. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Drop a like if you did, and I hope I answered some of your questions. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.